I want to walk through installing a Linux virtual machine on Windows. This will include using VirtualBox for virtualization and Fedora 18 for the Linux distribution. We're not going to install Fedora's desktop software, but rather go with a minimal install using the Fedora net install ISO. So to get that started, we want to go to the fedoraproject.org and click on Download. And here we want to scroll down to Formats. And from Formats, we'll find the net install ISO. And make sure to choose, we'll play it safe here and go with the 32-bit image. Now I've downloaded this image already, so you click that and get that download started. Next we're going to go to VirtualBox at virtualbox.org and make sure to click Downloads. I'm already there, and click this link for Windows to download the Windows version of VirtualBox. Once you've got VirtualBox downloaded and the ISO downloaded, what we want to do is fire up VirtualBox. And yeah, we want to run that file. Oops. And we'll get started on this Windows installer, accept the defaults, create the shortcuts, sure. Make sure that you've got that download complete, because this next step here, it's warning us that it'll interrupt the networking. So once you've got everything downloaded, click yes and click install. This may take a few minutes, so I'll probably edit this out. Okay, so now that the installation has finished, we'll keep that enabled and click finish. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is click New and type in the name of our virtual machine. And you can see from what we typed in that it automatically chose the type and version for us. So we can click Next. I'm going to set this to 512 megs. Click Next. We'll create the virtual drive, and we can accept the VDI. We'll accept the dynamically allocated drive, and we'll leave it at 8 gigs. And so now we've got our basic virtual machine set up. We're going to edit the settings by going in and clicking Storage. And you'll notice here for this controller, it looks like a CD or a DVD. It says that it's empty. We want to select that and choose a virtual CD, DVD, disk file. And in my case, that net install ISO is in my John Downloads directory, so I'll select that, click Open, and click OK. And we want to do one more thing here first before we start it up, is we want to switch the network here, be a bridged adapter. And what that's going to do is allow us to basically share the same network that the desktop is on. We'll click OK, and then from here we'll click Start. At this point, we've booted up on the CD here, and it's telling us, it's giving us some options here. We want to hit the tab and then press the space bar and then type TEXT. And so what we're going to do is go through the text based install and hit enter. It'll take a few moments here to boot up. So there's three things we have to set up here. One, the time zone settings. So we'll type in 1, hit enter, and I'm in the America region, and I'm at 146 Winnipeg. Hit enter. Next, hit enter, installation destination. We're going to select the SDA device, so press 1, enter, and C, continue. We'll go with the default there, C, continue. 3, we'll set the root password. And so with all those things done now, we can continue on. And after the partitioning here, it'll take some time to do the installation. So I'm going to take that offline and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so we're back and hopefully the install got to this point with no problems for you. The installation is complete and it's telling us to press return to quit. So we'll hit return or enter. And you can see it shutting down here. And one thing that you might be thinking about is that CD is still installed in that drive, right? And you can see that we've got this screen again come up, right? So what we have to do here is go back down to the bottom here and right click on the drive and it'll say remove disk from virtual drive, and we can select that and then come back up to machine here and just hit reset. And yeah, we want to reset. So now it's rebooting the machine. The disk is out of the drive and now it's booting up on the virtual hard drive. And here we can log in. So for the user, we'll enter root and the password, our root password. And here we are. Now we've got Linux up and running. We're logged in as the root user. There's a few things that we'll do to get set up here. You might notice here it says root at localhost, and that's kind of the default name for your system. People usually come up with different naming schemes. I always liked characters from Total Recall from the original. So I'm going to name this this virtual host, I'm going to name this Richter. So we've got, what we have to do is edit a file called /etc hostname. And VI or Vim is something that some of you might not be familiar with, so I'll walk you through using it. So we've got localhost.local domain here. What we want to do is type X to start deleting. So you'll see how I'm getting rid of this here with the X. Okay, and then what you want to do is type I for insert. Okay, and then now you can start typing. I'm just going to call it Richter. Okay, and then I'm going to hit the escape key, and then I'm going to hit I'm going to type :WQ. Okay, so VI is something that takes a while to get used to, but whenever I'm showing anything here, I'll walk through it in a pretty verbose manner. So now we can confirm that that file has the name Richter in it. We can do more /etc hostname, and you'll see that Richter comes back. So what we can do to restart the system, we can do a shutdown -R, and we can say now, like that. And that'll shut down the system and restart it. You want to make sure with Linux, as with probably all operating systems, you don't want to just kill it. You want to make sure you shut things down so the operating system has time to get things closed properly. And we'll be back here momentarily. And you'll notice now that it says Richter login. So we've got that. We'll log in as root again. There's a couple tools that I like, a couple things that are missing in this base install that I like. One is a command called ifconfig. I believe that's short for interface config, and it'll show you the network devices that are available and what's been assigned to them, or what IP addresses you have on for your devices. So that's in Fedora uses a package manager called yum, and we're going to do a yum install. Actually, maybe the best way to show this would be there's a command that we can use. It says provides. We go yum provides ifconfig, and what that will do is it'll tell us which package contains ifconfig. So that's a really handy command to have. So we'll just get this yum updated here. Here that we've got net tools, basic networking tools, and the file name that it matched was ifconfig, so that's cool. So we'll just do yum install net-tools, and a -y that we append there just means that it'll answer yes to when it asks if we want to install it. So now when we type in ifconfig, you can see here the first device it shows is the loopback, and that's a 127.0.0.1, and here we've got P2P1, and here's our IP 192.168.0.119. Now keep in mind that IP address is being assigned through a mechanism called DHCP, which is running. It's a service that's running on my router, and no doubt you'll have a similar setup if you're connected to the internet. Your router will be assigning an address there as well. So that about brings this screencast to a close. We'll first shut down the system. You'll recall that we did shutdown-R before. Well, we'll do a shutdown-H and then now, and that'll shut down the system. In the next screencast, we'll install Samba so that we can mount a network share through Windows, and we'll also use PuTTY to connect into the server via SSH.